pulse of the VI. Listen close and you will see why. The information will set you free. Stand together, never divide. Pulse VI.
Hey, Pulse VI, we are in the building. Caribbean Superstation.
We needed to be
90.9 FM.
Wow.
It's a little heated in here because we're talking about politics.
We're excited to have you, Mistress BVI. You just
Yes,
got
the BVI had phenomenal success. And
Hello, Zoe. The BVI. BVI had
the marketing.
I'm telling you.
Hold on. Yes, the marketing aspect of things. But no, it was such an exhilarating yet fulfilling trip. Excellent networking capabilities. There were a number of persons who are such of an intellectual capacity, doctors, lawyers, persons who have well-established businesses. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of opportunity to look at potential moving and shaking and see whether or not there were certain businesses even here in the BVI that, we could have, meshed or melded. So as much as we went for the pageant for women empowerment, which is what WIN BVI and WIN is about, one cannot take away from the fact that when you go to these pageants where there is an international landscape, it is imperative that you take advantage from every angle as much as you can, not just to posit the territory, but also to posit yourself and potential commerce.
Well said.
What would be the biggest thing you say you took away for yourself from this trip? Personal Zoe, not Miss BVI.
Being real. When I sat in the top number one spot for those couple of days, as a result of BVI showing their love and support, because typically you hear people say, boy, we don't support each other. And especially on the heels of last year when I was supposed to really attend Mrs. Globe and I chose not to because I felt that I wanted to be a part of the cleanup, a part of getting the territory back on track. And so we understand that there are some challenges financially. That level of support coming out of the territory and even their friends and families that live abroad, we sat in that number one spot and we were going head to head with places like India, China.
Which is phenomenal. I'm telling you, that's big for us.
Little BVI.
That's big for us.
So big for us, but it was such an exhilarating feeling for me.
I could imagine.
And as we were talking earlier, when I landed actually in Chengdu, before I went to Shenzhen, China, I was sick. I was actually sick for 7 to 8 days.
Okay.
And it was that sort of rallying support that really bolstered me to want to do more. I'll kid you not, to give me some additional pressure as well. Because I felt, wow, I can't go up there and let my people down. So if I had any takeaway, it was, as corny as it sounds, it was that feeling of BVI strong, that level of nationalism, and that BVI went hard for me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I felt that.
That's cool. Yeah. For persons who may not know some of the success that came out of this pageant, tell us some of the successes, and then also after that, tell us what WIN BVI stands for, like the platform
so
and stuff like that, because a lot of people don't know about it.
Okay, excellent, and thank you yet again for this opportunity to do this. So it Mrs. Globe, or in this case Mrs. BVI, who goes on to Mrs. Globe. This isn't just a pageant. These are a number of women that have lived. The oldest contender, I think, was 45 years old.
Wow.
And obviously once you're married, so there's, depending on the legal age where you live. So it was an excellent opportunity for women to tell their stories, and because of what they have gone through, that resulted in a number of them wanting to do more. I had one of the contenders, her mother was part of a sex traffic trade, where at the age of 14, that was her life, that was her lifestyle. And she ended up now creating a shelter. One of the contenders, North Continent, she was blind. And so when you even understand the impact, the stories, and the drive, and why these women, including myself, are driven, for a number of them, they were divorced. So, even for me here, in small BVI, I get in my head as well. So, okay, I'm divorced, but I'm going to say what? But I had quite a story to tell. I was able to also encourage, because I think that's one of the best parts of me. I tend to inspire others in spite of my current situation. And we had a lot of that, a lot of exchange, and building of each other.
Okay.
This wasn't a sob story. It wasn't a pity party. This is what the situation was. For some of them, this is what the situation is, and this is what we're going to do about it.
Right.
And Mrs. Globe, as well as their own domestic pageant, provided the platform within which they can project that voice.
Right. Okay.
So women empowerment is what WIN, BVI, Women in Need. And we want persons to recognize it's not just about the woman, especially when we're talking Mrs. The dynamics is the family.
Yeah.
It's that connect. It's when something affects my child or something affects the husband, it affects the dynamics of how we operate within the household. And, one of the things I know we were talking about, I was mentioning to Alton, who's going to be coming on my 2020 cruise, Blake to be decided.
We all might be there. Hey, we could bring the show live from there. Hey.
High five. Oh, yes. Yes, high five.
We got to think big.
Well, one of the things that I've been working on, and we were looking to do 2019, but I thought I wanted to give it enough time 2020 because I have a lot that's going to happen going into 2019. I'm a divorcee. It was not an easy road. I'm a divorcee with children, which compounds things dramatically and drastically. There are a number of things that happens before you get to the point of a divorce.
Right.
And one of the things we wanted to do was to empower both individuals to recognize that you both contributed to the situation at hand. It's not about laying blame to who did more. At the end of the day, at some point you were friends. So how do you move forward in a manner that is beneficial and non-destructive to the children,
to the family,
and even to be honest, to your growth as an individual, from taking that level of toxicity and allowing it to change who you were. Because these things change you. So what we want to focus is on in 2020 is how do we posit you to change things for the best. Even covering the dynamics, for instance, children change things, a woman's body changes, and we've seen where there have been shifts in men as well as they tend to get older, erectile dysfunction. So we're going to have a number of topics.
I don't have erectile dysfunction.
So put that out there.
The way that she put her hand.
I think she was just saying the male.
Putting it out there. When you see this video.
No, but listen.
No.
You would be surprised. And you know what? The reason why I wanted to do a cruise is I feel when we tend to do things home, and there's nothing wrong with that. People tend to keep to themselves. They're not as free with sharing information.
Right.
So it's not as beneficial as it could be.
Right.
So we're going to have professionals coming, in all walks of life, from all backgrounds. I hope you allow me to come back on the show so we can talk a bit more about
Never.
Definitely, so you could speak about that issue.
But as you were, making a comment regarding erectile dysfunction, you would be surprised to note that there are 22-year-olds who suffer with erectile dysfunction. So there's no longer, when you take a look even at cancer, cancer no longer
has an age.
Yes, there's no longer an age.
Nothing
that
does
you
anymore.
Right, nothing exactly.
So what do we do?
We have to speak about it sooner, address it sooner.
Exactly. Speaking about it is one thing, but how do we go about effecting change? So there are a number of things. We're going to have doctors on board. So persons who may want to get certain things done, especially, for women, there are some concerns with the body and the changes it goes through post-pregnancy. So we are going to have doctors on board, not just to deal with that, but just to deal on a broader scale to address some of the concerns, to help to fix the relationship. And those topics that even in those relationships seems to be taboo. Because why should I be scared or afraid to somebody that I've been married with for, let's say, 20 years or 10 years or 15 years?
Isn't that amazing?
But it happens.
It happens more often than we want to believe or want to accept.
Well, we have the conversations, so the conversations are being had.
Yeah.
And this is going to be an excellent opportunity. There are going to be things happening here in the territory as well in the BVI.
Awesome.
Where we allow for this level of discourse. And the reason why I chose erectile dysfunction is because it's almost like when we used to say sex, and we act as if, oh my goodness, you know, these are things we're supposed to mention and talk about. But not talking about it allows for almost a cancerous effect to happen. And it's almost like a shadow cancer. So it's eating away.
Yeah.
And because you're not addressing it, though it starts to attack all functions of the body. Well, I am here to say we are going to be looking at ways in which we can stop the attack on the family.
Right.
And that's the focus. So how do we empower our young women? How do we empower our young men? That's going to be my goal going forward. Because if we don't start fixing the situation from when they're younger.
Get that mind when it's young.
Yes. And it's not enough just to say, I find we throw that term about so loosely, empowerment. It's such an evolved and big word. But how to really empower becomes the question. And we're going to need all hands on deck.
True. We'll will be there to help.
Definitely. It sounds exciting.
You know what I just remembered?
What?
We had a radio show.
Yes, we did.
Oh, I didn't know.
That just hit me like a light bulb.
Wow.
We had a radio show.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was like a week. It took like a week long.
Not a week long.
It was like a week
It was
long.
short-lived.
It was very short-lived. I got the call. And anybody who knows me, I tend to be very straight. Very upfront, very, because for me, I am so tired of persons wearing these veneers.
Oh gosh.
And the strain of always having to wear a mask.
Yes.
And when Robbie and I were talking and we had the show, it was really sort of focusing a bit on that. It was sex in the bedroom and how we can improve our game.
Wow.
And how the men can improve their game, how the women can improve their game. What are we not talking about? What are you not doing? Are you too comfortable? Have you, and we find that a lot of stress is more placed on the female. You're not doing enough, which is why he's cheating.
We're too rigid.
Yes, we're too
Stuck
rigid.
up and
Not well enough.
I got a frostbite.
Yes.
So for me, I've always been, and to be honest, I had to get into there because I wasn't always that person. I was the person when I started. When I started to go to the beach, I was like every BVI Lander woman.
Wear pants over your swimsuit or a dress.
And you know what I did? I would go all the way down to the end of the beach where there was nobody, go in the water, and then swim up.
Yeah.
So I have evolved, and I am here for the evolution of others as well.
Wow.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
So, I think that was a good way to end.
I know, and we definitely will have to have you back. Definitely have to have you back. We are happy that you found time in your busy schedule to come in and just grace us with your presence right off your big trip and all the success. And we want to wish you continued success. And you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you. But just very quickly, let me just end by saying yet again, I want to thank the entire Virgin Islands for really coming and throwing your support and your weight, and all the sponsors. I'll be sending you a professional thank you next week. I've made calls already to some of you, so I am so humbled by your backing, your support, and we really came up BVI strong. We placed top 3 by the end of the evening, and I also got Choice Awards, which is the award that was given by the contestants after our personal interview. So the contestants felt that I was the best person in their mind to be selected as Mrs. Globe. So that in and of itself was quite, I was like,
Hairy eye,
and of course, Best Singer Award, and there was another award. So I got actually the most awards coming out of the competition.
Wow. Congratulations.
So as we go to commercial, give us a note.
Okay.
You got Best Singer Award.
Like, why? Why? And
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Caribbean Superstation 90.9 FM. We're here sitting down with Zoe. Mrs. BVI just came back. Pulse VI, we're going to pay some bills and come right back.
We be the heart of the VI. Feel the pulse and you will see why. Where I from, we do it B.I.G. On each other, we could rely. Feel the pulse of the VI. Listen close and you will see why. The information information will set you free. Stand together, never divide. Pulse VI.